How important was it to get the job done? Just, win this game down there and take care of business.
Well, I mean, the way things unfolded and the, had it gone the opposite direction, you would have had some guys and people, fans, everybody saying, what are we doing? Uh, we've made it challenging on ourselves, giving up a late goal, but that's, credit to Ben and his team. They didn't quit. But certainly we should have done better in that moment. But it would have been challenging to get our guys up for it. But what I would say, Maz, is the mentality of this team is very, very strong. It really surprised me tonight in some ways. I've seen it throughout the course of the year. I know the players, uh, but to take a gut punch like that in 90 whatever minute for them to get it back and get scored on a man up is a psychological blow. And we came through and were able to regroup. And again, penalty kicks are not easy. And the fans were going crazy behind us. And, the pressure is there. And all of our guys put that pressure on their shoulder and they made plays. Those penalty kicks, again, were very, very good. So credit to that group of guys in there for persevering and pushing us through.
Speaking of perseverance, leadership, growth, you've always liked to talk about Christian Rodan. Can you just talk about what he means to this team through the years and today what he exemplified?
Yeah, look, Christian always puts the work in. I didn't think this is one of Christian's best games, though. I mean, to be fair, at the end, he scored the goal when it mattered, and that was a joy to see. But I pushed him up as a number 10 to start with that. With Albert being injured, it really didn't work, and so maybe the mojo, maybe his rhythm was off because he'd been playing back a line. I don't know what it was, but I didn't think it was one of his best games until it mattered. And then, when it mattered, first penalty again sets a tone, scoring the goal. Obviously, in the statistical department, he had a great game.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go over to Jada Evans next. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Thanks. Congratulations on the win, Brian. Wanted to ask if you could kind of share what Steph was like after and yeah, after the shootout and kind of getting the win, helping you get the
Well, I
win.
think he put some doubters to rest as to whether he can save penalties. I mean, he obviously was in a very good way. Saved two. Now I saw the replay, so he did encroach, and we'll work on that. That's a fixable thing, but he saved two. So credit to him. I think his save in the first half with his foot, and then that collision in the second half. I mean, I think he did great. I think he was great tonight.
And then as far as your lineup, I mean, you without Albert and Jordan, that's like basically most of your offense there. So what were can you share what the discussions were like, or how many different kind of scenarios you went through before deciding
Well,
the lineup you did?
yeah. Well, Raul is still the leading scorer of the club.
Yes.
So we had that, and then we had Christian, then we had JP, and then we had Obed, then we had Pedro, and then we had Paul, who's got 5 goals. So, I mean, the lineup, certainly we were missing Jordan and Albert, but it was still a competitive lineup. I mean, we have a deep squad. These moments, Jada, this game was not an easy game. And the players that we put out on the field, were able to make plays. So, again, credit to Craig and giving me the tools to be successful. And, I wasn't worried. I thought we had a legitimate chance. We made the tactical switch at halftime to bring Obed and Christian, switch them. Then Danny Leva was in a conversation to play in front of Albert. We had, a conversation whether De La Vega should play as a 10 and Giorgio wide, but that was a little too drastic for me because, we're away from home and I need to get the defending right. So, look, at the end of the day, uh, Pedro was good, lasted a long time. Raul gutted it out. I mean, I didn't know if he was going to last 90 minutes, but he did. Credit to him. And some of the other guys that, came on and did a good job, credit to them.
All right, we'll go to Jeremiah O'Shea next.
Yeah, Brian, if you could just kind of speak to what it takes for a player like Christian to have the high of scoring that goal, have to take, it's not really his fault, but he does take the own goal, and then to be the first guy up, and then just to drain his penalty the way that he did. Did you ever any second thoughts about having him go first?
No, no, no. Look, when we do the penalty kick discussion out on the field, I have my list, and then the players all feel what they feel. And I take input from the players. And so, Christian was willing to go up first. So I said, okay, you go first. And Raul at the end, the closer, that was good for me too. I think Jackson came up and had another nice penalty. Alex again was there. Danny's penalty was great. I mean, I was very impressed again with all of our penalties.
All right, next question. We'll go back to Ben Steiner. Go ahead, Ben.
Brian, congrats on the win. Christian mentioned that this team is the closest team that he's been on, and the team dynamic is unlike anything he's seen in the past. You've been here a long time. Is that something that you felt with this group?
Each team is different. If that's Christian's opinion, that's fine. I mean, look, we've had some challenges this year with certain people and some articles, but I think deep down inside, I would agree with Christian that this is a close knit team. Even though there's disagreement sometimes, it's still a family. I mean, people in my family, I still argue with my brothers, and does that mean I don't love them? No, that's not the case at all. And so Christian is a very emotional guy, and after a game like this, he and Steph, those guys taking the lead. Raul after the game, making sure that his presence is felt. You've got Yaimar, everybody pitching in. That's a tight knit group in there. So, I'm happy that Christian has that opinion. I think it's a very, very close group.
All right, I've seen follow-ups, which is fine. Jada, do you have one still?
Yes. Brian, I think it was you that said that Albert and Jordan were precautionary. So there's nothing or do you expect them to be available, I guess, so far for the next round, or
Well,
is there still a
yeah,
question?
no, we'll have to wait, obviously, Jada, till the final schedule comes out the 23rd or 24th, I believe. But that's going to be plenty of time for those guys to ramp up again. They should be available and healthy.
And are you scoreboard watching Vancouver so far? They might push LAFC to a third game.
We've been watching. It's that's 50-50, Jada. We get an extended period of time off that helps Jordan's recovery, Albert's recovery, but sometimes not being in rhythm. So we are already working as a staff. Kudos to Adam Centofanti for already having a couple of ideas out there for the training plan for the next 3 weeks. He does a great job. Coaching staff's already working in there, Jada, making sure that the team is fresh for whoever we play.
All right, Jeremiah, back to you.
Yeah, I guess if you follow up a little bit on Jordan and Albert, if this was a must-win game, were they close enough that they could have played, or were they like very clear out?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Look, they're important players for us, but let's stick to the guys that won the game tonight. That would be my counsel to you guys. Those guys in there put it in. It was a hard place to play. The crowd was into it. Benny had his team fired up. It was a good performance by the guys that were here. Very pleased.
Miles, over to you. Oh, sorry, Jeremiah, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess to follow up on that real quick, the defensive effort you guys have put in these two playoff games has been obviously very impressive. I mean, what is it that you guys are doing so well defensively that you think that's working?
Uh, well, again, uh, I mean, it's required when you come here. You understand your role. I mean, again, Raul's defending is different from Yaimar's defending. That's different from Christian's defending. Then JP's defending. I mean, they're all different areas of the field, different responsibilities. But as a collective, if you're able to be good defensively, then you give yourself a chance to collect points in the regular season, win games, and then in tight playoff games, if you're good defensively, that gives you an added boost. You can say good defending teams and teams that are good on set pieces. Obviously, if you're Miami, you have Messi. Maybe that helps you in the playoffs. But I mean, our team is going to be who they are, and they all bought in, all of them, because they understand that that's a requirement.
All right, last hand I'm seeing is Maz. Maz, go for it.
Yeah, Brian, I was going to ask about your defense. Let me see if I can spin it a different way. What can you just talk about your ball possession and your patience in terms of defense, and then turning that over into offense today? Were you pleased with that? Did you need to see more?
Not sure of your first part of your question, but I'll answer it the best of my ability.
Sorry.
I didn't think our possession was good after like the 20th minute mark, and then they were on top of us. And then in the second half, little spurts and bits and pieces of possession, but it wasn't as fluid as we would have liked. But that's just the game was going to go like this. They were the home team. They needed to win. They pressed us higher up the field. Again, credit to Benny. It was a hard game. The goal, I'll be specific on the goal. I have to take responsibility there because, on the goal kick that we played short, not everybody was on the same page. Some guys want to kick it long. We were up 1-0. We're up a man. I think we should have been able to play and close the game out with better possession. So, we'll work on that, Moz. We'll talk about it. We'll watch film and we'll try to get better. That's our process.